is a 2018 Audi TTRS. Today we're going to take you through some of the quirks and features. Yeah, so I don't have a lapel mic, but that's my best Doug DeMiro. Today we're looking at a 2018 Audi TTRS. This is my car, traded in for an RS7. So going from an RS7 to this is quite different. The A7 line for Audi, quite big. TT quite small. Deceptively big though. This is about the same length and a little bit wider than a Fiat X, which is like a crossover Fiat, which is considered like a not mid-sized USV, but like a utility vehicle. And I'll show you how much stuff I fit in it. So we're gonna kind of go over the car. So this is the last year that Audi is gonna be making the TT. That's the 2020 at least. So the car kind of debuted, I believe, in 2000. And since then, some of the styling has changed. And of course, the RS badging on this kind of gives it a little bit more of an aggressive look. Along with the Quattro branding here in the front is noticeably more aggressive than the RS that I had. And if you even go into the 2020s, you know, the grille just seems to get larger and larger as more of a call out. I absolutely love the lights on these as well. This is in, I think, Mythos Black, which is like a $500 paint option. In my opinion, I would be doing everything in Nardo Gray because that seems to be a stock option now when I was like kind of building out a hypothetical 2020. I did not go for ceramic brakes on these. Some of the things that I've had issues with ceramic brake Audis is they are notoriously loud and also kind of heat up. There's been some, like, I don't know, mixed reviews in Audi forums, at least heating up or overheating. I never tracked my cars anyway, and that's really what ceramic brakes are good for. So kind of a useless option or waste of money, if you will. Styling again, the wing is fixed. We'll show you what that looks like once you get in the car. I believe the 2020 now has an option where the wing can go in. Personally, I like it fixed. I mean, it's not like anyone's really driving this for great fuel economy or anything like that. And again, very aggressive exhaust there. I don't know what I did to make I might have squatted and made the keys hurt. Also, this plate, I need a temporary plate. I don't think this is, I don't think I should be driving this technically. Also, another little TT feature. Got the big silver gas nozzle thing, which is a little interesting. To be honest, I might matte that out. It's a little bit offset from everything else. That's like the only styling thing I'm not wild about with this car. Now, the big question, storage. Well, safe to say there's enough storage. This is from a Walmart run that I did. If you guys haven't seen it in the economy Discord, there's a link in the description. But I was able to fit a lot of stuff in here, and if I had folded down the seats, I could have done 6 of those pools. So while the cargo space is relatively small on paper, there's a lot of utilization you can get out of this, because the fact of the matter is no one is sitting in those seats. There's not, you guys don't need to watch this review to know that. Every single person's reviewed this car, there is absolutely no room back there. Just fold the seats down and use it for storage. All right, look at the engine. Again, a lot of people are looking for me to compare this to the RS7. You know, going from a V8 to a 5-cylinder, it's just not really a fair comparison. That being said, this engine makes 400 horsepower, 0 to 60, I believe, in 3.6, although a lot of people are saying it's quite quicker. A lot of German manufacturers underrate their cars. They said top speed for my RS7 was 155, and I took it over that. So these are really great with the Stage 2 tune as well. I do not think I'll be tuning this unless I hold on to it. Now, it has a carbon fiber kind of cover for the engine. Now, what's interesting about this is it's a dynamic package option, but in the trunk, there's like the stock version of this. So I'm not sure exactly, I don't know, I guess this might have come with the car if you ordered it as like an add-on part and they put it on, because there's a version that just has, you know, whatever this plastic is called in the trunk. I was not expecting that. So, okay, now into the interior. Again, everything is very driver centric, meaning that pretty much everything is slightly angled towards the driver. Passenger, you're not really getting too much in this. It's very similar to an R8 in the sense that you got a cup holder here. Absolutely no room for a cup holder on the door. There's a little cup holder in here as well, but you know, you probably should just hold on to your cup. You also got a pretty big storage bed up front. Put my Leatherman in there, and that's actually where the aux and apparently a dime and those 2 little USB cables are. Another thing everyone leaves out of their Audi reviews is that this car has a CD player. It's right here. So no one ever talks about that. So this car came with an RS package. In my opinion, I'm not quite sure what that added. The RS badging was standard. I thought, on the seats, but you do get the red contrast stitching there. You also get the RS floor mats, and then also when you open up the car when it's nighttime, it actually puts down the rings, which I'll show you a picture of. So to start the car, you're literally going to hit this button. It'll turn on. It's going to ping and say I need an oil change, which is actually a lie. Some things that's interesting about this too is you obviously have the digital dash, which I love. Now, going from the RS7, which also had a not quite as updated a digital dash, but the 2016 still had a digital dash, which was kind of impressive. You obviously do not have any sort of anything here, right? So just utilizing this screen took me a little while to figure some stuff out. Like for instance, the AC. I cannot tell you how long it took me to figure out how to turn that off. You have a lot of the controls that would be traditionally in here up on the actual little air vents, which are styled very, very well. You know, I like how everything clicks. It doesn't feel cheap, which is really important. You know, from the digital dash as well, you can go straight into drive select. Obviously, when the car is in drive, it does have cruise control. I can do a couple of things with this one. It does not have the heads-up display, which I do recommend for most people that are driving these cars. I will say that I drive slower when I don't have the heads-up display, which might seem kind of ironic, but it just is what it is. Heated seats over on this. And again, I think that's a really tasteful use of these air vents. I wouldn't mind seeing that on other cars as well. Even if it does have the full dash, although I do think I'm going to probably end up with a Q8 after this, which has kind of more like a Tesla screen. Now, I've found that this car, especially being one of the more modern Audis, you know, while I drove my RS7 in manual mode a lot more, meaning, you know, I shifted it over and did all the shit, this car seems a lot more intuitive. I'm finding even in sport and regular drive, it's downshifting where I would, including down hills, which is good. And you know, when you downshift in this car, it just does not have the same, you know, backfire and crackling that you would in a RS7. So that's something that I miss a little bit, but it does have this little button which changes the exhaust. So we'll start up the car so you can hear that. Now that's without the car in sport. So I'm gonna turn it off and piss off my neighbors. So before startup, you can change the exhaust sound: standard, sport. So this is what it sounds like in sport. I don't know, it's pretty similar, to be 100% honest with you. Again, drive select, auto, comfort, dynamic. Auto is going to be put in there. Individual, I'm not even going to really touch. I'm going to be driving this car in comfort unless I'm on the highway, because if you didn't take a look at those wheels, I got to be careful around potholes, or I'm going to have a ton of downtime in this car. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested in driving experience and everything like that. I'm not going to take it out. I mean, I'm going to be driving it pretty much every day, but I don't want to do like a filming driving thing until I get proper plates on that, because it's just going to make it way harder for me to talk. Sorry, officer, I was filming while driving, doing a YouTube video. So that's like an overview of the car. Now, I've already driven this. I can tell you a bunch of things about it. So way stickier in terms of turns and everything. One of the things was that the car had understeer because of how the engine was. I didn't experience that personally. There's like I have so much confidence going into corners of this car. It is absolutely insane. You know, and I think the other thing too is, while accelerating, coming from the RS7, because it was such a heavier, bigger car, I like really felt that we're moving forward. This one, it's like you put your foot on the gas and you're up to 100 already, and it's like, wow, you know, because you don't really, I don't know, you don't feel as much of the car pulling. It's just like, all right, we're going in now into the next gear, into the next gear, into the next gear, which is great, man. It's going to be a super fun car to enjoy and take out. You know, in addition to all those things I talked about, another thing is I do a lot of driving. I have only seen one other TTRS, and that was, I think, in 2019 in this area. I have not seen any. The dealerships don't have any in New England. There's very low stock in New England that I've seen when I've been looking for this car. This car came up from Florida. The point of me saying that is that even though this is not an R8, it's not a crazy hypercar, supercar, this car definitely gets a lot more attention. And I don't buy my cars to get attention, and I don't think anyone should buy it for what other people might think. It's just something to point out that it's like, from a Doug DeMuro cool factor or like head turning factor, it's definitely, people haven't seen these that much, especially not in New England. So it's been really cool. Just like the last couple days, I've had a lot of people ask me questions, or like roll down your window and like ask me what it is, and then they're like disappointed because, like, you know, it's kind of like a random ass car. So anyway, that's my overview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll hit up with more content during this week. I can tell that the trash can's coming right now to get the trash, which kind of is perfect way to end this video. T-Black signing out. Peace, guys.